So please, Alexandra, if you can tell me how it all began for you, when you started your career after the days of school.
Yeah, so I kind of got into marketing in a bit of a roundabout way. I had never really gone to school for it or anything like that. I have a history degree, so it's completely outside of that realm. But I was looking for things that were a little bit more creative because that was kind of my background a little bit. So I found this job that was listed as a graphic designer slash marketer for a R&D company in biogas, and I didn't know what biogas was at first, so I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. Let's go ahead and go for it. So I started as a graphic designer. I did that for about a year with them, and then it kind of progressed more into taking on more responsibilities as their director of marketing. And from there, I fell in love. I fell in love with both the biogas space and then also marketing. I thought it was fascinating how you can actually move not only companies but industries forward with just communication and the basics of marketing. So that's kind of where it started.
I love it. I think it's a thoughtful process to make things simply understood and quickly seen, I feel. What do you enjoy most about marketing?
Yeah, I mean, really, this is what I always tell people. I always feel like marketing is the one thing that brings a company to life. So I really love digging into like what the company stands for, what the mission is, what the vision is, and really bringing that to life. Understanding that every single company and all of the people behind it have a different path and different goals at the end of the day. And if their company doesn't reflect that, it's not going to connect with people. So yeah, that's my favorite part, is bringing in all of those pieces together and then just really fleshing out the company and giving it, an essence and life and connecting it to other people.
Nice. Can you give us an example of one that you've done that you're proud of, or one that was a challenge to bring to life?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could go back to biogas. So I worked for this little R&D company, so it was a laboratory in the U.S. And having never even understood what anaerobic digestion was or biogas was, getting into that, I really struggled kind of grasping what it is because it's so dynamic. It's, biology, it's engineering, it's renewable energy. So it's so many different things. And really piecing that together and bringing life to a company within that space was a challenge. But it was a fun challenge because you really get to bring in those pieces and do the research, and it's not just like sitting back and letting the work flow. You really have to get in there and become an expert, basically. So yeah, that was really fun. And I feel like where the real challenge was for that company specifically was, it was really starting from square one. They didn't have necessarily a marketing plan or anything, so it was really just building from scratch. So yeah, that was really exciting.
Nice. And did you have to have, because we call it, me and the marketing person I work with, we call it thrashing out our ideas. So do you have times you have to go back and forth and thrash out what works, what doesn't, and sometimes you have to get rid of ideas that you love, but you realise they're not going to work out?
Oh yeah, almost daily. But that's the fun part about marketing too, is I don't think a lot of people realize it's way more than just creative. It's analytics. So really digging into the data. What does your audience connect with? How are they connecting? How long do they stay on your page? Like, it's just so many different moving pieces. And it really gives you a better understanding of, what draws people in. Like, what connects with people? What do they care about? How can I make them care about me? So yeah, it's fascinating to dig into the analytics. That's one of my favorite parts as well. I love the data.
Oh, nice.
I love learning and building from there.
Because it's interesting to know you like the data, because I think sometimes as well marketing can just come down to pure, not fluke, but pure creativity where there's no data for it, because I recently spoke with a business development lead on the podcast, Alexis, and she mentioned that when her company went to an event, bit like the biogas event that's coming up, but she's from
Nice.
the software world, so she's from the Web3 industry. They had an event coming up and they was brainstorming ideas, and literally out of nowhere, Alexis suggested that they have an alpaca on their stand, and they went through the research and development, completely random, but she said having the animal on the stand with them, she said it was a lovely alpaca as well, that it brought in so many people because no one else had, everyone wanted to come over and say hello. So I hear what you're saying about data, but I think also marketing can be just a bit of creative flair can lead to, can't really be calculated,
Yeah, that's the fun part about marketing too. Yeah, so it's that creative, and then it's also at the end of the day that strategy. So it's being a person that can do both. And I feel like
nice.
having that balance, even if you don't do it every single day, like just understanding that balance and really being like focused on, I need creative, I need analytics this day, and dividing it that way. It's fascinating. I never get bored.
And please, Alexandra, tell us exactly what you do at We Are Biogas at the moment, like what your current day-to-day is.
Yeah. So We Are Biogas, I kind of formed as visibility platform, really kind of focusing on communication and spotlighting the people behind the industry. I feel like we really kind of lack that focus, and I think it's important to kind of push the mission and the needle forward for our space. So basically day to day for me is I interview people. I do feature articles on people behind the industry. And what that looks like is just, basically like this, interviewing people, understanding where they came from, why they care about the industry, why we need to move it forward. I also do more multimedia as well, so lots of video and photo. So I recently went to a site visit, We Are Biogas in Enfield, and I got to
really close to me. Yeah.
Really?
It's literally 10 minutes away.
Honestly, I was really astounded that there was a biogas site so close to London. I don't know, I guess because I'm outside of that realm. It's just like right there, and all of the waste comes in from the city, and it's a beautiful system. So so I got to go on site, take video, interview.
Was it interesting?
It was amazing. It was so amazing. It was my first site that I had been to, so seeing those digesters in person is really kind of surreal. It feels like it's just not real. So me personally, I'm really drawn to this industry, and I'm very passionate about pushing it forward. So that's pretty much my everyday. As I sit down and I go, how can I use this platform to really push biogas forward, to push biomethane more into the public atmosphere and make people care about it. So
nice. That's a lovely mission to have as well. Into that, I didn't know about biogas before. All I knew was shipping. And then when I heard about biogas, I couldn't stop looking into it, watching it, learning about it. I think it's brilliant.
Same.
I wanted to ask you, what? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's an industry that really sucks you in. It really does. I think it's because it's so dynamic, It's not just like solar. It's just so much more wrapped into a package. It's like a mystery. Yeah.
It's exciting, no offense to solar, but solar can feel a little bit, it's just
boring.
Is what it is. A little bit boring, But biogas is, I love it, and I think the potential in it is huge. And my job now is I'm trying to bring a lot of people into the industry that have very similar experiences, like on that plant, for example. Because as the years progress, we're going to need more and more people to work in the biogas plants. There's more projects than there are people to deal with them. So I'm excited to see. I want to enable people to work in this industry. But tell me, I want to ask you this question, because I have lots of conversations with friends and family about this. I think it becomes your everything, when you're working in a space you're passionate about. But what do you think is something people outside the industry, what do you think is misunderstood, maybe by people who haven't heard of biogas before, so it's the first time they hear it?
Well, I mean, there are so many different elements that I think are misunderstood. I think one of the most important elements, though, is that I feel like community members specifically think that a biogas site is just a pile of waste sitting there and waiting to go into a system, and it's just rotting, and there aren't it's not a clean thing, and there aren't enough what am I trying to say, standards and protocols. I feel like they
Right,
just
yeah.
don't fully understand that these are very intricate systems. There are people from A to Z making sure that this waste is treated properly and it's functioning correctly all the time. So I've had some really great conversations with like project managers and stuff like that, where it really is. It's just like every single little piece is considered on site, and people don't get to see that because it's not like solar and wind. It's kind of tucked away. It's hidden.
Yeah,
So
true.
being able to communicate that like it's a biogas site isn't just a place where a bunch of waste is sitting rotting and it's stinking and it's not managed well. I feel like that, that can be a very big misconception. And really, if they go on site like I did and they see how streamlined these operations can be, and the care that's put into it, and just all of the intricacies in these systems, I think that it would really change a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, I agree. The more people see it, even with the short attention span that we have these days of the public, but short, sharp
Yeah.
videos, to see a biogas plant
Yes.
would be good.
Yeah.
Would be good because they are clean. Well, from what I see as well is that, like you say, I think the key there is they are very well organised. Very well
Yes.
organised. So your opinion is that people might assume that they're like quite dirty, just picturing landfills almost, which is actually what
Yeah.
we're reducing.
Exactly.
Um,
I feel like that's the big, for me, I feel like that's the big barrier is people just think, oh, it's another version of a landfill. The waste is just
yeah.
there. So
Mm.
it's really trying to communicate that and open people up into the space, like really make it visible. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, nice. Well done. How is it going so far? Since We Are Biogas, has there been any surprising moments? Something you think, oh wow, like I'm making really good progress, or something's happened where you think, yes, this was made the decision correct in you that We Are Biogas was the right step.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every single day I feel that way.
Oh,
I've
nice.
made some really great connections with people who really believe in what I'm doing, which is fascinating to me and, always makes me feel good, like I'm on the right track. It's great to connect with leaders in this space and understand that, they feel the same way. There isn't this communication element that we're focusing on, or we really can't focus on it because, like I'm saying, biogas has so many moving elements. It's hard for us to just like sit down and really sit in this area, and one company just focuses on communications, one does it. It's just so big. And we're trying to move forward so quickly that, it just felt like people are really behind this project. And every single day I have great conversations with people in the space who just feel positive about it, and that makes me feel great about it. So yeah, every day I feel great.
Oh, that's well nice. Is there anyone in particular, Alexandra, that you like look up to or you see as a guru of marketing?
Wow. Well, I mean, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, and there are a lot of gurus out there, I would say. I wouldn't say there is one specific favorite. I really like to diversify who I'm watching and who I'm tracking, and who, like, I try to, I guess take on some of their skills and
Yeah.
techniques. So I wouldn't say there's just one. I would say mostly what I look for when it comes to like who inspires me in marketing is who's fresh, who's not just
Yeah.
posting the same stuff, who's doing something different, who has a different voice, who's not just copying and pasting ChatGPT into a
Yeah.
into a LinkedIn
Yeah.
post. So pretty
Yeah,
much
definitely.
anyone who's just like a vibrant voice in the space, I follow it. I try to be that way. I think that they're doing really great work because it's so easy in marketing to just do what everyone else is doing. And really just being different in the space and just
Yeah,
in marketing,
yeah,
I think is so important. Yep.
So
Northern
can
Portugal.
That's what brought on the move from the States to Portugal?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a spur of the moment thing for
Oh,
me.
really?
I
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm, like I said earlier, I'm a history major, so I'm really into exploring cities and getting to know their history. And Portugal was the first place I had ever visited that was outside of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love with the history there, the
Oh,
Templar
nice.
Knights and all of the castles and everything there. So that's really what inspired it. And
Mm-hmm.
every single day, I feel like I'm learning something new about Portugal's history, and I love the country. So,
Oh, that's well nice. 'Cause obviously, you get to speak to like, some very senior individuals in the market too. You mentioned at the start as well, where you bring their visions to life. Have you ever had a time where it's been a little bit difficult to maybe reshape someone's idea might not be what you feel is the right angle for their marketing? Have you had a challenge like that?
yes.
You
Short
don't need to
answer,
name
yes.
names or companies, yeah. And how do you
Yeah,
feel,
yeah, yeah.
or what is your approach in them scenarios?
Well, so there are really two ways to approach it. You can go, well, you don't know the vision of your company, and I'm here to help you see the vision of your company. Or you can go, this company is literally born from this leader's vision. So I want to try to make what they're seeing work for their company because it's like their baby, you know? They
Yeah.
have a specific idea in mind, and it's up to me as somebody coming in, I being a leader as well, to understand when to step aside and really listen to what they're trying to tell me and shape something that maybe we can both see in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like that's really important as like a leader, especially in marketing, is understanding when to step outside of your own judgment and step into somebody else's shoes and understand what they want for their company. Because I mean, yeah, you're really shaping the whole trajectory of what they're doing and
Yeah,
and how they're
yeah.
communicating their services. So
Mm-hmm.
you really have to be delicate and
Yeah, it's a fine,
yeah,
fine balance there, I think,
it's a
isn't it? Yeah.
dance. Yeah.
It is, yeah, yeah. I like that
Yeah.
saying. What is it now? Don't fear a storm. Learn to dance in the rain. That's
Exactly.
probably key. That's what's key there.
That's what I would
Yeah,
say is the approach. Exactly that.
yeah, nice. And Alexandra, tell me, because I have this own advice for myself. If you could give your younger self advice, maybe 10 years ago to now, in not just your work, but how you conduct yourself with people, because you come across very confident and very well, like organised and a true professional. And obviously, I didn't know you 5, 10
Thank
years ago,
you.
and you may well have done it. No, you're welcome. You do. You come across very well. Um, and I know that doesn't always happen overnight. So, is there any advice that maybe you'd give to yourself 5, 10 years ago that yourself knows now?
Yeah, the one piece of advice that I cling to every single day, and I really try to like, put it into everything I do, is to just always, bet on yourself.
Yeah, true.
I feel like it's very easy for us to take on other people's opinions of ourselves and really cling to that and go, oh, well, you're right, that's not a good idea. But I feel like to really bet on yourself and to just like go fully into what you're thinking, what your vision is the best way to approach everything you're doing in life.
Yeah, I like
because
that.
yeah, so that's my big thing
Back
that I
yourself.
cling to every day
Yeah.
is bet on
Yeah.
yourself.
Bet on yourself. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
good. I like that. If there was someone who maybe just finishing their studies and they're looking to get into their first position or their first job, what would you tell them? What advice would you give to someone?
Just be to bet on yourself. But also I would say don't be afraid to take risks, let's say there's a job out there that you don't think you're qualified for, so you don't pursue it. I feel like the odds, are always stacked in your favor if you at least try, if you try new things,
Yeah.
if you go outside of your realm of comfortability. So I always say take risks, it could work out in the end. You're never going to know if you don't try. And then, bet on yourself. So
bet on yourself and take risks. Yes, I like that. How about for marketing in particular? Have you got any thought processes that you do? Like, for example, let's say you have a new project starting today, and you meet with a client that needs to bring their company to life. What would be your first brainstorm to start off the project? You know, are you going to put yourself in the customer's shoes, or the potential customer's shoes? Or are you going to ask yourself, what would someone want to see? What would someone not want to see? You know, what would your advice be to someone in marketing who's starting off with a brand new project today? Is there like a train of thought that you like to follow?
Yes. So I'm very much a start from the bottom, work your way up type of person. So what I like to do is I really like to understand what the people working at the space and the company leaders want. Like, what are they feeling that their company communicates, or what services are they selling? Just getting down to really the basics of the company. And then building from there, like building the meat from there. So, you know, the vision, the goals, what's the day-to-day look like? Who are we already trying to connect with? And then, you know, kind of plugging in all those pieces, like where are our audiences and what demographics do we have to be targeting? Because I feel like it's easy to, because with marketing, there's just so many moving pieces. It's easy to go like, let's start from here because this is the fun part, and then maybe we bring this piece in later. Where I really like to go square one to the top. Let's like get a full vision going, and then that way too, like things just start plugging in naturally, like the colors or the fonts and just every single little detail. So yeah, I think starting from square one, really truly understanding your client and what they want and what their company stands for is the best advice.
And tell me, Alexandra, have you got any advice? This is one question, because obviously Juice is a recruitment agency, so I like to conduct research into hiring processes. So when either in the past when you've joined a company, or maybe when you've had to been involved in hiring and you've interviewed someone else, is there any approach you've had or question that you faced that you felt that was really useful, or that was a really good way of making the candidate show who they are, or if you was the candidate, being able to showcase who you was? Is there anything that comes to mind in a hiring process? Maybe not just a question, maybe an activity or a project you've had to do. Has there been any times like that for you?
Yes, there are two actually that come to mind that I think about very often. So one interview that I had to do, I was interviewing for a company. They asked me at the very end, they said, you have to go buy a pair of shoes, a very specific pair of shoes for an event. How do you approach this task? And I really like that because it shows like what kind of a thinker you are. So me specifically, I don't like to waste a lot of time. I'm a very efficient person. So I said, well, I'd probably look for the shoes online before I go to the store and see if I can buy it that way. You know, so it's very much like that approach instead of just going to the store, seeing a bunch of shoes and trying them on and things like that. So I really like that question. Anything that's more analytical. And then also I was asked one time.
But yes, sorry, please continue.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. And it's so disruptive. It kind of like makes you feel a little bit more comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
But there was also another question and I'm not going to be able to remember the puzzle, but it was like a puzzle. Try to figure out this puzzle, and then it was really hard. I can't remember what the puzzle was. I wish I remembered now. But things like that, where it's just like really kind of getting to who you are as a thinker. What's your thought process? How do you solve problems? I think that's going to be more telling of how capable somebody is of actually getting in and doing the work than what's your experience or things like that. So, yeah.